Leonardo Helicopters has got a great heritage in helicopter design and manufacture. Celebrated its centenary in 2015, so we've been around a long time. Started in fixed wing and then moved into the helicopters in the 50s. Started with making other people's designs of helicopters, and then we started to design our own helicopters, become specialists in it, so we're now experts in rotorcraft, so not just helicopters, but nowadays moving into unmanned air systems and urban air mobility and other rotorcraft systems, including tilt rotors and lots of exciting new technologies. Yeah, one of the things I say to people as we talk about Industry 4.0 and the famous digital revolution, or industrial revolution, I don't see it as revolution, really. We've been a digital company for decades. You know, the first introduction of CNC machine tools, the early days of computers and basic databases, they're all digital tools. I think what we're seeing today is an acceleration with greater compute power, lowering cost of computing technology, ease of use of software, ease of user interfaces. All those sort of factors have led to greater adoption, greater use, more reliance. So we've seen a growth for sure, and it's accelerating. One of the challenges that we face, like everybody else, is there's so much data now. There are so many different systems that have evolved. It's how do we harness them and bring them together, and how do we educate our people to use them effectively. Knowing that these SMEs have tight finances and can't afford mistakes, I think it's seek advice where you can get it, and quite often that's freely given. There's lots of people around to help. People like the IET, the High Value Manufacturing Catapult, various societies, aerospace associations if you're in aerospace, or other trade associations. So go seek advice, point number one. Two, make sure you've identified the problem in your business. Make sure you've got a real problem to solve before you invest in anything. Then market test as much as you can. There's lots out there, you can't test everything, but have a test plan and make sure you've done some degree of rigor in making sure that the solution being offered really will solve your problem. And then really focus on the implementation. Don't just expect I've bought the product or the software solution, I'll put it into my business and it's going to solve the problem. You need to work on implementation. That means proper implementation, proper support from the provider, training of your people, making sure they understand how to use the tool, and then follow up. Once they are using the tool, make sure you're taking some KPIs. You've identified those up front in your project. You can monitor your KPIs and you can see the impact that the system is having. So I do see this exponential growth in both capability of computing, the sensor technology. Therefore, we'll be collecting more data, storing more data, and therefore moving data around is going to be a thing that will change in business. And I think what we've been talking today in the Leaders Summit about communication up and down the supply chain. You know, data will permeate the boundaries of the organization. So you'll be sharing with your supply chain, they'll be supplying data up to you. So you become a virtual business beyond the boundaries of your physical business. And I think that's going to be a step change for people to get used to. One of the challenges that I see is that with this pace of technology, a problem we have with our education system is it's too slow in terms of the development of its structure. So we are based around a system of developing curricula, then an exam board, teaching it out, and then examining against it. And that whole process from flash to bang, from inception of an idea of a new concept of a new thing that needs to be taught, and finding a way to examine it. Well, by the time you've done that life cycle, the technology will have moved on, and I think that's a danger for us. So we've got to find a way of speeding up the way we develop our teaching, get it out there faster, and find different ways of testing whether people have assimilated the knowledge, rather than just sitting in an exam room and asking them to write on paper. I think IET can be a real motivator in that, in terms of stimulating people into action. Yeah, I think you need a central institution, because it's not a single company problem, it's not a single sector problem, it's a problem for the nation, if not wider in the world. But I think if the UK can lead the way in finding a way to educate. I mean, to me, you've got made smarter. What about educate smarter? You know, I think that's our challenge. We need to educate smarter.